chat. What is up?
I got to say personally, I like the Colts moving for Sauce Gardner. There's a lack of top corners in the league right now. Most teams don't have one, a top and elite corner. And to get Sauce Gardner at the age that Sauce is at, and I think his best years are ahead of him. 2 first-round draft picks, I don't feel like is too steep a price to pay. I feel like that was a foolish move on the Jets' part. Sauce Gardner is a player that you build behind. You don't. I could understand if he was 28, 29, even 27 years old. 2-3 years from now, when you're ready to compete, he's a 30-year-old corner. I'd get it. But what's Sauce 23 years old? You don't move off a corner at 23 years old that you just invested a top 10 pick in just a few short years ago to, one of those picks you're going to have to replace Sauce with anyway. So you get one, and these are going to be late round draft picks probably. The Colts look like they're going to be a Super Bowl contending team. So you get a early second, late first for, Sauce Gardner. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with him on that one. It's a crapshoot in the NFL draft, right? As much as there's guys that study this for a living, that's all they do. They watch the film. They try to figure out who's going to work in the league. You could take cornerbacks with those first-round picks with both of them and miss on both, and you still don't have a guy as good as what you had with Sauce. So I agree with you completely on that. Quinnen Williams, to me, was a huge trade too. Just the Jets obviously just having a big ass fire sale there, just trying to get rid of everything they can for as many assets as possible. But Quinnen, I'll tell you, watching him firsthand this season, he is a destructive dude, man. Like everything that he does doesn't always show up in the stat column. He's almost unblockable in one-on-one, and he doesn't get a whole lot of sacks and quarterback pressures. But you can't run his direction in the run game. Like that side is shut down, and he will get some pressure just by collapsing the pocket. Just so much stronger than pretty much every offensive lineman he's going up against. So you have to figure like that's kind of what the Cowboys were looking for all along, was trying to find somebody that can stop the run. Well, there he is. That's somebody who can definitely stop the run.
Yeah,
if you're going to go all in with it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you can finish up. I didn't realize you were going to say something.
I was going to say, Breece Hall is probably the one you should have probably traded first and foremost. I mean, because running backs are a dime a dozen. You see multiple teams using running back by committee. Breece Hall should have been the first one out the door. And then if you're going to trade those guys, you might as well have traded Garrett Wilson too. You know what I mean? Even though I like Garrett Wilson, I think that kid has a lot of potential. If you're trading those two guys, why just everything, strip it bare.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at what point in time, where are they drawing the line? What do they think they actually have for assets? I guess maybe they just figure they don't need a defense and they can try and build an offense and see if they can be like the Bengals, but that isn't working out too well for the Bengals.
All right, and I was thinking about it. You stole mine there by talking with the Sauce Gardner one, so I'm going to switch it up, present a different point of view, and go Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks, which is the one similar thing it does have to Sauce Gardner is you get a player who would experience some individual success but was stuck in a terrible team situation. Now he gets to go to a new team where actually now maybe he's not going to have the same stat line yet with the Saints, but he goes to a better team and has a better shot at winning. And for Seattle, that's just one more weapon in the offense. You already got Jackson Smith, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Barner. Now you're adding Rashid Shaheed. That's great for the Seahawks. Now you just add one more threat to the passing game. It's great for Shaheed. You get out of New Orleans, you get a fresh start, go to a team that's in contention. And plus, for Seattle, you need all the weapons you can get because you're in that loaded NFC West, competing with the 49ers and the Rams in that division, especially for a home playoff game. or even a wild card spot, it's not going to be easy as their record may indicate because of the division they're in. So I give the Seahawks props for going all in, getting another weapon, especially for those key games. Because you already got a pretty good defense. You're already pretty loaded there. You just add one more weapon that could help in the passing game, make it tougher for other teams' corners, particularly in those key games against other NFC foes or even divisional foes. So I like this pickup. This has potential to help the Seahawks. Just matter of how it works. And plus, with Sam Darnold, he's shown the last couple of years when he has the right team around him, he can accurately throw the deep ball in right situations. So this helps too. We've seen Shade in New Orleans. One of the few highlights of that offense was sometimes his ability in the deep ball in recent years. So it's a good idea for the Seahawks. Now we just got to wait and see how it works out.
I got a question for you guys on this Jalen Phillips trade. Big C, did you feel like a third-round pick was enough compensation for a star pass rusher like that? And once you're done, Nikki, do you think he's going to go right into the starting lineup?
Well, first and foremost, you're using the word star very, very loosely. To be honest, I thought we were going to get a fourth at best for Jalen Phillips, considering his injury history. This is a guy that we took in the first round of the NFL draft, and he's never had 10 sacks in a season. He hasn't finished the last 2 years. He medically retired from college football at one point. He just never lived up to the hype. Was I a fan of his? Absolutely. I'm not a fan of how he's acted since he's been traded, where, oh, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. Like, give me a break, bro. Like, don't act like you were lighting the world on fire. There's 2 games that Jalen Phillips individually cost us this year by not being able to finish the sack. You know what I mean? So pump your brakes, hold your horses. Like I said, never 10 sacks in a season. I think he can. He's got great potential. He's got one of the highest pressure rates this season in the NFL. He just doesn't finish it off. I think with Philly, when you got a bunch of other people to worry about, he can be sneaky good for them. But as far as a star,
So, yeah, and as Big C said, the star one, yeah, that's a little bit of a reach. Now, does Jalen Phillips have talent? Of course he does. Absolutely. When he's on the field, he can help out. But there's also the injury history, which is where actually this ties into his situation with Phil. He's going to be used more. I see him more as a rotational piece, that you're not going to rely on him every single play. Now, fortunately, though, the Eagles already have some guys in the linebacker room, Zach Bond being the leader of that. So that works out perfectly with Phillips being more of a rotational piece. And plus, with Fangio and Phillips have rapport with each other from Fangio's time in Miami. So there's at least a connection. And as far as Phillips being one of the better pieces of Miami's defense, when he's on the field, that's true. But also when you see the way their defense has looked in recent years, that's a bit of a stretch to say that he's one of the best pieces. Because
I disagree. I don't think he's going to be a rotational piece for Philadelphia because the guy's an athletic freak. He's built like a Greek god. He's going to be more gifted than any other piece you're going to be able to put on the field. So he's going to get each and every opportunity to be a full-time participant for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just about him finishing the play. Like I think like he could come in for you guys, and don't get me wrong, he'd come in and have a 20 sack season for you guys. Obviously not this year. The season's half over. But if you guys were to re-sign him at the end of the year, he has the ability to have a 20 sack season. He just never, he's never lived up to that hype. You know what I mean? But he is an athletic freak. He drops back in coverage. I mean, he was probably the Dolphins' best. They use a lot of their pass rushers in coverage, which I think is absolutely asinine. You got these guys dropping back in coverage 30-40% of the plays. How are they really getting after the quarterback? Are you giving them a real opportunity to put up huge sack numbers? You know what I mean? He was their best linebacker in coverage. But I think he's going to be given an opportunity to be the full-time starter in Philly.
And we'll have to also see about it. I mean, for now, it looks like at first it came across as him being a rotational piece because you got Alston Reeves, whatever his name is on the Giants. I can't pronounce it. He's on IR, and they're looking for a guy to replace. Now, maybe this is kind of to also a prove it type deal this season, and then see if we could re-sign him in the long term. Now, do I expect him to be tomorrow used? He'll probably be in and out tomorrow just to ease him into the lineup a little bit, get him adjusted. But we'll have to wait, then we'll see as far as the rest of the season goes along. Maybe he comes in, could be a difference maker, maybe not. Now, I think out of the three guys we got, I see Alexander being used the least. I could see Michael Carter III being more used, kind of replace that Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo spot. And plus, they got him a week in advance. He's had time to practice with the defense and get ready for tomorrow night. And Phillips, they all had this week, so we just got to wait and see. And plus, Raphael brought up a good point. Brandon Graham, there's that too.
Yeah. How's he played so far? I haven't caught any of his films.
This would be his first game he's played.
Oh, okay.
So he had a few.
Yeah, I think Jalen Phillips will run circles around all those guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Phillips averages a sack a game for the rest of the season. Like, he is one of the top as far as pressure goes. He's at the top of the list this year in pressures on quarterback. He has the ability. He's getting there. He just wasn't able to bring quarterbacks down in clutch moments for us. So, like I said, he is a Greek. He's built like a fucking ton of bricks, bro. Like, perfect comment right there. He looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. I wouldn't go that far, but I think in this Philadelphia defense where there's a lot of different things coming at you, Vic Fangio knows, like we said, Vic Fangio knows Jalen Phillips. He obviously liked Jalen Phillips to bring him back, bring him over to Philadelphia. So I think he knows the best way to use him. Obviously, you're going to use him in definite passing situations, but Jalen Phillips is more than that you can play him. He can be an everyday player. He does a decent job at setting the edge on the run. He's a good football player. And if he can ever just get it all together at one time, he can be one of the best just because he's that physically gifted.
But you got to figure he's going to have every opportunity with Philadelphia, because the nice thing when you go to that defensive line is there's so much talent there already. The teams aren't going to be able to focus on you and double team you because they have to worry about everybody else up and down that defensive line, and even the off-ball linebackers having capability of getting after the quarterback too. So, yeah, I think that's one heck of an opportunity for Jalen to be the best version of himself. Not that it wasn't a good opportunity in Miami. He just didn't have as much talent on that defensive line in Miami as he's got there in Philly.
Well, Ralph Alba just beat me to it. I don't think Vic Fangio is going to be having him drop back in the coverage like that.
Yeah,
you're going to be a pass rusher, what you were meant to do, what you're built for. So there's also that, you know what I mean? If you think about him dropping back in the coverage, 20, 30, 40% of the plays, and he's still in the top 5 in pressures on quarterback this year. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is. No doubt.
All right, and it looks like we said what we're going to say about this. Now, the next question related to the trade deadline. So we're going to move on. Which team do you feel won at the trade deadline?
I mean,
which team potentially
the Colts won?
Yeah, it's tough not to say the Colts.
I mean, the Colts looking like a Super Bowl contending team already, and then you add, like I said, a top 5 corner in the league to, where was their weakness on this team? Corner,
that was it.
And they went and got him. You know what I mean? So I don't see how anybody else you can say anything but Indianapolis.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's other teams that definitely help fill some blank spots. I mean, Philly obviously filled in some areas they needed some help there, but not at the level of what Sauce is. That's just that's a dude that was one of the best corners in the league before he came into the league. So it's just a whole different level of corner right there. Like you could go 3 or 4 years in the NFL draft without having a corner as good as him.
I mean, I'm going to have to say Indianapolis because here you go. You got a team that's already 7-2, and as Raphael pointed out, they are winning right now. I'll have to check the score in a second, give you guys an update. But here you got a Colts team that's done a nice turnaround. They're at the top of the AFC. Now you're bringing in an elite cornerback in his peak to add to that defense. I mean, it's hard to top that right there in terms of immediate value to your defense. So I got
what's scary is I think he's a year or two away from his peak. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think he's reached it yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And score update, 13-7 Colts early second quarter. Yeah, and like Finn said there, you just got a few more years before all of a sudden, boom, this guy, it could be the true top of his game. And he's already, mind you, still at one of the best. And you got Robert commented, Sauce has 1 INT in 2 years. He still performs, but his rookie season has been his best. But here you go. You're talking about a guy who has been consistently one of the best since his rookie season. And if it's what Big C said's true, he's a year or two away. Imagine how much of an impact player he can be, especially for the Colts. They keep him around a year or two from now, assuming you still have most of your pieces together. So this is definitely a big win for a team that's already in contention in the AFC. So it's hard to find a team that topped that in terms of big moves.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't look too much into the lack of ball production the last couple of years, because if you're playing the Jets the last couple of years, are you going to throw at Sauce Gardner or are you going to throw at the other guys on the field? I'm throwing the other way every single time. I don't care if my best receiver gets 0 catches in the game. Why would I throw at Sauce when the rest of the corners can't cover?
And chances are you're probably beating the Jets, so you're running the football.
That too.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say on this?
I mean, people don't take into account what it does to your morale as a player playing on a bad ball team, constantly losing. Do you get up for games? Are you as pumped to be out there? Do you necessarily try your hardest? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just natural human. You know what I mean? If you're constantly getting your ass kicked, it's just natural not to be in the vibe of the game. You know what I mean? And that will definitely affect your play.
All right, so it looks like we're about to round that one out. Now we're going to switch gears. Before we get into week 10, we're going to have a little bit of fun and do a few trivia questions. So shout out to Mitch for putting this together for me. So let's get right into it. We actually have 4 trivia questions. The first one, which quarterback holds the record for the most losses as a starting quarterback in NFL history?
Steve DeBerg.
Nope.
I'm trying to think who played for forever but had a mediocre career.
Most losses as a quarterback in NFL history. Don't be looking it up in the chat neither. Don't be cheating.
Yeah. Don't do that on us.
We should just turn the chat off or not.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think who was good but got stuck on a bad team for a long time.
Most losses in NFL history as a starting quarterback, you said?
Yes. So it's a journeyman who played for a long time.
It's a journeyman.
Was it Vinny Testaverde?
Yes, it was.
he played everywhere, man. He must have started for like 8 or 9 teams over the years.
Yep, 123 losses.
Oh my God. Well, that doesn't sound right. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, so all right,
Wow.
second question. This is going to be which rookie quarterback holds the record for most passing touchdowns in a season?
Well, it used to be Baker. Did somebody beat it since Baker?
It's more recent.
Yeah. Well, I think I know who it is, but I'll let Big C go since I already said somebody's name before I go another one out there.
And I don't know. God. Justin Herbert.
Yep, Justin
No.
Herbert.
Herbert.
Yep,
I was
his rookie
thinking Justin Daniels or Jaden Daniels beat that, but I guess not.
31 his
31.
rookie season.
Yeah, Baker was something like 27 or 28, and he crushed it by quite a mile when he broke it. But Herbert's been there since.
Right, and that's interesting because now the next question actually is related to touchdown passes. But so it's going to be who holds the NFL record for most career passing touchdowns thrown by a non-quarterback?
Non-QB that threw a lot of. Are we overthinking this? Is this the Miami special?
Cordell Stewart. I mean, technically, he wasn't a quarterback when he came out.
or was it Ronnie Brown that was running the Wildcat for the Dolphins for those years? Did he throw enough of them? Not him.
Apparently, someone threw more.
Tyson Hill.
Oh, there was a punter that threw a lot of touchdowns. Man, that's probably not it, though. He completed some passes. I don't know if he threw a lot of touchdowns.
It's not a punter.
Fair.
What position they play?
Running back.
It isn't Derrick Henry, is it? Did he throw a couple of them?
It's not Derrick Henry.
Austin Eckler. No. Yeah, I don't know. We give up.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the answer on this one?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LT, shoot. we probably could have got that one.
Now this is going to be the final one, and that's which Super Bowl featured no touchdowns by either team's offense?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is going to be an old one, I feel like. I don't think this is anytime recent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have a good guess on this at all.
It's Super Bowl 35 between the Giants and Ravens.
Giants and Ravens. All right.
Special teams, touchdown, defensive touchdowns.
Yep. That
Jamal
game,
Lewis. Jamal Lewis.
Yep. Ray Lewis was the MVP. Kerry Collins was the runner-up MVP for the Ravens. Trent Dilfer blew the opportunity for it to be a bigger blowout with some horrible throws. That one.
That sounds like his career.
Yep. Now, with that being said, we had a little bit of fun with the trivia. Now we're going to switch gears and start talking about Week 10. Mitch has for the game of the week the Steelers versus the Chargers.
I mean, it should be a good one, and it's a very important one for both teams because both of them could be sitting in a situation where they're vying for a wild card spot late in the season. So definitely getting that head-to-head win is extremely important today. I'm trying to look through to see if there's anything else that jumps out as a more important one. Patriots Buccaneers is a pretty big game. That could have some real serious ramifications for who's running for top teams in each conference.
I mean, it's interesting. I think both games, and you brought up a great point, that could also have the case for game of the week. Last week on the Pick'ems, me and Agent Warrior discussed how that game could potentially be a shootout. Matter of fact, Mitch even clipped it as a short on the network from the episode. So you could argue either way between both games. Now, sticking with the Steelers and Chargers, you got an interesting matchup right here. One of the key battles is going to be that Steelers defensive line versus the Chargers offensive line. And I looked last week when we were looking at the picks, a lot of people were leaning toward the Steelers getting the win. There was a close majority of people picking Pittsburgh because of that matchup right there. Because now you got your down Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt for the Chargers. Yes, you got your guy from the Saints for the season, but you got him on short notice for the week. You still had to fly him in after trading him Tuesday. And then how much time would he really have to practice with the offensive line and get adjusted going against the Steelers, who last week surprised us all and when the Colts kind of took him for granted? They got a good amount of pressure on Daniel Jones and forced him to revert back to Giants form, and they kept Jonathan Taylor's efficiency to a minimum. So if they can do that there, considering the Chargers struggled last week against the Titans and Justin Herbert had to be more of a mobile quarterback, even running the tush push a few times, because that's the one thing people forget about. Now you're going from that against the Pittsburgh, who, even with their flaws, are still a much better all-around defense than the Titans. That's going to be a tough matchup for them. And I'm a little bit concerned about Justin Herbert. He takes one big hit from that defense, especially with a healthy TJ Watt. You're stuck in the same situation you were a few years ago. Now you just got to see what you can do with Trey Lance if that were to happen. So that's a mismatch that can go in favor of Pittsburgh there.
Yeah, historically, Herbert's had some real big games against Pittsburgh, so it's something that they have to be very cognizant of. I'm not as concerned about them bringing in Trevor Penning for the offensive line. When he came into the league, he was an offensive tackle, and honestly, his worst tape in the NFL as an offensive tackle, which is why he kicked inside and started playing guard. So if they put him back outside at tackle, I love that matchup for our pass rushers, because all of them have good speed moves, which is exactly what his weakness is getting that kick slide out and getting all the way to the exterior to keep somebody from running up the arc on him. So if he's on the left side, and Nick Herbig's probably our best speed pass rusher, that could be a big day for Herbig if that's the case. And Highsmith's coming off of his best game this season. Watt seems to starting to get things rolling again as well, with a sack, forced fumble, and fumble recovery in last week's game. So it's all about that pass rush, but the pass rush means nothing if you're not playing tight man coverage. That's the thing that made the biggest difference for Pittsburgh last week, is that they pressed the receivers and they got up on the line of scrimmage so that they weren't getting a clean release. Last 3 or 4 weeks, they were playing such off soft coverage. Receivers were just running uncontested routes, which is why they got carved up so badly versus Jordan Love. And then a few weeks previous to that, too, with Joe Flacco carving them up. These guys weren't even getting contested. They weren't getting even a hand in the chest on their way to running their routes. So they changed things completely, put Ramsey back at safety, which seems to be a pretty good fit for him, and started to run a little more press man, because you don't have to worry about getting beat deep if there's a better safety behind you.
Listen, Mitch can't do a trivia if he's going to get the questions wrong. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it says Sweetness had 8 touchdowns and LT only had 7. I mean,
now
you're entering false information into my head, and that's not good. You know what I mean?
Okay.
What if I get called to Jeopardy or something? You know what I mean? That's one of the questions. It cost me $50,000.
Someone needs to clip this and show it to him.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was the only one that said they were going to win last week. I'm pretty sure. I did step out on the limb, and I said that they were going to win. Listen, the Chargers are beat up. Offensive lines in rough shape. Justin Herbert, I've never been a huge Justin Herbert fan. He has the physical tools, but I just don't. He's not that dude for me. They're on their 5th or 6th string running back. I just think Pittsburgh's the better team, and they'll put pressure on Justin Herbert, and they'll pull off the W.
Yeah, and at this point, it's ironic. Actually, we're all three agreeing at this point that Pittsburgh's going to win, especially, and you got to factor in Justin Herbert's track record in big games when the pressure's on him is not good. Even in the playoffs last year against the Houston Texans in a game that I thought the Chargers were the better team despite being on the road. I felt like, well, the Texans kind of lucked out in winning the division. Chargers, hit the wild card part because they were in that division with Kansas City. They should win that game, and ultimately they didn't. And now here you're going to a game against Pittsburgh where your pass rush, your offensive line's your weak point. I don't really see the odds playing out in favor for them here. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I got the Steelers winning this game, mainly due to defense. And I don't see the Chargers offense getting much going. Last week they struggled against Tennessee, and now here we are this week. You're going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are better all-around defense, who we know they love to wait till their back's against the wall to show up. I like this matchup for Pittsburgh here, and I'm going to take them on this one. So that's that right there. Could it be an interesting game? Yes. And what's at stake? For the chart, as far as the Chargers go, one thing I wanted to say, even with them winning games, I've always kind of had that hint of the injuries are going to start to catch up to them eventually, especially since it's on the offensive line as the season goes along. Now you're at that November point. You're getting closer to Thanksgiving when the season really begins, and it actually starts to have a major impact on playoff seeding and momentum. This is probably the time that you already got the Broncos 1 to go to 8-2. Kansas City, you can never count them out despite their loss last week to Buffalo. And you still got a bunch of other teams too. You got Buffalo and New England. One of those two teams is going to be a wild card. And then you got, like I said, you're in a tough division. So yeah, I think this might be where it starts to catch up to them. You can't play the Titans every week.
Nope.
And if any of you guys want to comment what's on stake before we move on.
Yeah, it's important. Pittsburgh's schedule, the last part of it is way tougher than the beginning part of it is. So they have to beat some of these teams that are tougher teams. Last week was a good start, but they have to start putting a few of them back to back for people to take them serious. So today needs to be a day that they don't just win, but they win by like 10 or 13 or something like that, just to put a statement out there that they're actually legitimate this year.
Right. So, and does anyone have a dark horse potentially for this game player-wise for either team?
I'd say look out for the interior pass rush for Pittsburgh. With all of these moving parts, the Chargers have been highly susceptible to twists and stunts. They're just not passing them off very well. So this could be a game Derek Harmon makes a big splash for Pittsburgh.
For me, I'm not going to necessarily go with a specific player, but I'm going to go with the Steelers' defensive line as a whole, because their ability to generate pressure is going to have a big impact on the game, which most likely will go in their favor. But ultimately, whether they do so successfully or not and get to Herbert or get to their running back Vita behind the offensive line is going to make a big difference. If no one has anything else to say, last thing we're gonna say about that game is last question is who's likely to be the player of the game? Well, I think James already kind of covered it.
Yeah, honestly, as much as my dark horse was Derek Harmon, I think Nick Herbig would get the player of the game today. I just think his speed, pass rushing from versus the left tackles, whoever it is that they decide to march out there, either it's going to be Jean-Marie Sawyer, who has played more guard than tackle, but can play tackle and did some last week after the injuries piled up, or it's going to be Trevor Penning, who has shown not to have great versatility on that outside tackle position. So I think Herbig could have a real big day today.
I'm just gonna say TJ Watt.
Fair.
I'm going to agree with James on this one. So there's not really much elaboration to do on it. So if that's all we're going to say about this one, then we're going to move along. I'm going to pull up the schedule a little bit so you guys can see the games. Let's see. Can I zoom in? I'm going to zoom in real quickly right there. If anyone wants to take a quick pan of the games for the week. Because next question is, what do you guys got as the upset of the week?
Upset of the week.
If you guys need a few more seconds to look, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm just checking it out to see who I might actually like in an upset this week. Well, I really don't like any of the underdogs this week at all. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see too many of them winning. So I guess if I have to pick an upset, I'll go Jets over Browns, although I don't really believe it, just because I don't like any of the other underdogs at all today.
I'm going to... Hold on a
Maybe
second.
Tampa Bay over New England.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how I can. All right, there we go. And this one, it's kind of a tough one. Like, I don't really know if there's any underdogs that catch my eye. Maybe New Orleans because it's a division rivalry game. Maybe, but that's the only reason why. That's kind of baseless there. Or maybe the Jets over the Browns.
I guess I could see the Vikings pulling one off against the Ravens just because their offense can be pretty potent sometimes. And the Ravens defense has been struggling quite a bit this year, but I still kind of figure the Ravens will win the game. I could see the Vikings possibly pulling it off.
Oh, that's another good one too, now that you mentioned it. Especially with that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And now we go from potential upset of the week to lock of the week.
Buffalo over Miami.
At least you're honest. I respect that.
I'll take the Lions over the Commanders. I think the Commanders are completely falling apart, especially with Jaden Daniels out now.
Yep. And I'll go with the Bears over the Giants because at this point, the spark you've had in terms of trying to win games is lost at this point, and
yeah,
it's not going to go well for the Giants. Let's put it that way. So,
the schedule effect is over.
Yep, definitely. So, I'm going to close this thing out. If you guys want to give some of your predictions, go right ahead. If you
are we going through the pick'ems still?
we're kind of just, I'll switch to the Pick'ems tab, make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Hold on 1 sec. There. Oh, wait. Oops. Sorry. Hold on a second. Nope. All right. Here we go. 1 second. and we'll go game by game. So we're skipping Thursday night. That game's in lockup. Falcons are up by 1, but there's still plenty of time. So we're going to start this off with the 1 o'clock games, Bears and Giants.
Yeah, got to go Bears. Got to go Bears. Like you said, I don't think there's anything left for the Giants at this point. They might squeak 1 or 2 wins out, but I don't see them beating the Bears.
Yeah,
I got the Bears.
All right, so that's going to be unanimous. I think this next one, we're all unanimous, Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. This one, Ravens, Vikings.
I'm gonna take the Ravens, even though I'm cheering for the Vikings in this one, obviously, to beat a division rival here. I think the Baltimore is starting to get in a groove, which is scary for anybody playing them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm starting to think that they're getting in that groove too. But the Vikings, I mean, I could see the Vikings winning this one too, but. I mean, they did beat Detroit last week, but that could have been also just a 1-week deal. So, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one, but I think this could be a toss-up. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson's 24-3 all time against NFC teams. Brian Flores has had success against Lamar Jackson back when he was the Dolphins head coach. He dominated Lamar Jackson in a Thursday night game, I think it was, where we just zero blitzed the shit out of him, and Lamar Jackson had no answers. I don't think they go that route today, but this game gets me. This game could go either way, but I got to go with the Ravens also.
Ready? Now, next game we got cue the tanks, Browns and Jets.
Gonna have a 3-2 victory for the Browns on this one. No, I think the Browns will probably score a lot of points because the Jets don't have anybody left on defense. So I think this is an easy one for Cleveland today.
Right. Good for Dylan Gabriel. Get his confidence up.
Not so good for Shador because he ain't gonna get on the field if Dylan keeps winning.
Yeah, I go with the Browns too.
Yeah, same here, because at least the Browns, as bad as they are, have some talent on offense, and against that defense, good opportunity for them to stat pad. So I guess we're going unanimous, moving right along. The Tom Brady Bowl between the Buccaneers and Patriots.
This is going to be a good game, I think. This one's tough to call.
I'm going to go Patriots on this one. I think that the injuries are catching up to Tampa Bay, and it's only a matter of time before they start breaking off a few losses here. So I think New England's a healthier team, should get the win today, I think.
Now that you mentioned that Tampa's dealing with injuries, that does leave it open for error, though. But now Tampa Bay has more experience in these type of games. They're the better all-around team in this situation. So I'm going to go with Tampa in this one, but it could be a close matchup, though. I think this is a good opportunity for New England to at least go against a good team and at least put up a good fight.
Yeah, I got to go Tampa too, I think.
All right, now next one, we got Panthers and Saints.
Could be an ugly one, in my opinion. This is one of those last man out, turn the light out on the way out. There's not much going on left in New Orleans there. I think they turned over to the rookie QB now, too. So, yeah, I'll take the Panthers today just because I don't have much faith that the Saints are going to do much of anything the rest of the way.
Yeah, I go with the Panthers just strictly on Rico. He's been running the ball like a man possessed. He is a very talented back. I gotta go with the Panthers.
Yeah, with hey, and like great point because with Rico Dowdle, it's just one of those. Sometimes you got to find the right team situations, and he's done that with the Panthers. So, long story short, I'll go with the Panthers in this one. Moving right along, Jaguars and Texans.
I'm hearing no
CJ
CJ Stroud
Stroud out.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
CJ Stroud out with that concussion, so I think that makes it a lot easier for the Jags today, and I'll take the Jags to win it.
Yep, I'm going Jags.
Me too. I had Houston till I seen CJ was out.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, oh, here we go. Seahawks Cardinals. Now, it'll at least be a competitive matchup, but I got the Seahawks winning because they're the more complete team.
Yeah, I feel like the Seahawks are sneaky good this year, so I'm not going to underestimate them the rest of the way and just assume that they'll be able to take care of teams that aren't very good like the Cardinals.
I agree.
All right, we're all going with the Seahawks on that one. Moving right along now, this one, ooh, Niners versus Rams. Niners already beat them once. There's first place on the line. Rams have the better all-around roster on paper, but remember, the Niners always have their number in the regular season.
I guess it's time for a change then. I'm taking the Rams today over the Niners. I don't know who the heck is left in San Fran. There's a lot of injuries going on there this year as well, which seems to be it's like every 2 out of 3 years, half their team's on the IR. So I'll take the Rams as the healthier team.
Yeah, no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. I mean, I think the Rams are the superior football team regardless. Matthew Stafford versus Mac Jones. I mean, I think it's an easy choice.
Yeah, at this point, now that I think about it, I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. It is unanimous. I think this is finally the time. They get their biggest win against the Niners since the 21 conference championship. Now moving on to the next one.
Yeah, this would be my pick for ugliest game of the week. I think if there's one that's a blowout, it's going to be the Lions over the Commanders. So it could be an easy 20-plus point victory, I think, today.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions in this one for sure.
Yeah, the Lions disappointed me last week. I ain't going to lie, but there's just too many, Daniels being out for Washington. That's a big hit. I think Detroit comes out motivated to show that last week was a fluke and they're a better team than what they performed last week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions in this one, especially the Commanders down so many players. It's an easy win for the Lions. And now, we just talked about this earlier. I think we're all going Steelers in this one.
Yeah.
So we'll move along now. Eagles Packers Monday Night Football.
I'm going with the Eagles. The Packers continue to play. They're just not consistent. Not consistent at all. Last week, they absolutely hurt my pockets. I had them in so many of my bets, thinking that they were a sure thing against the Panthers, right?
Yep.
The Panthers aren't a good football team, and people want to talk about the Packers being one of the few teams that have a real opportunity to go to the Super Bowl out the NFC, yet they lose to the Browns, yet they lose to the Panthers. They just, I can't trust them. And Philadelphia is one of the better teams in the league, so.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take the Eagles on this one.
For the shocker of the day, Nikki taking the Eagles.
Yep.
I can't say anything, man. I took the Steelers today. So I'm going to follow the two of you. I think the Eagles get the win tomorrow night versus the Packers.
Yep, so we're unanimous on that one. So that does it for what we have in store. Before we go off, if anyone has any hot takes or has anything they want to plug, go right ahead. Floor is yours.
Nothing crazy, man. Just our normal schedule for me. So we'll have a recap show going on Monday evening, and then next Saturday our show looking towards the following game. So
Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
Me, it's the standard Tuesday's the big live day, 3-point blitz, 11:30, and then 8 p.m. pick'ems on the Hardcore Sports Network with Agent Warrior. So with that being said, James, Big C, thanks for joining me on this episode. It was an honor to host. David, Raphael, thanks for your support in the chat. Alexander as well. Appreciate your guys' support. We're the reason we always get to do this. So with that being said, let's just strap up. Enjoy week 10 on Down By Me this rainy day. I don't know about you guys, but a great day to have rain on a Sunday where you can just sit back, enjoy football, and not feel guilty about it. So with that being said, guys, for your host for this week, Nikki Stees, James, Big C, have a great Sunday. Enjoy the football, and we'll catch y'all later. Peace.